They'd come into town the day before, up from the plains on the interstate, up through Denver, and then into the mountains on a swinging cliff of road that swung their hearts out into the open sky, into dizzy plungings of bottomless green, the pines so thick and small on the far slopes. Up and up they'd climbed, up to the Great Divide and then down again, down to 9,000 feet, where the resort village appeared suddenly in the high geography like a mirage. The wintry architecture of ski shops and coffee houses at midsummer, chairlifts hanging empty over the grassy runs. Impossible colors at this height, and air like they had never breathed before. Now, in the blue morning, they drew this air into their lungs and coughed up white clouds. The smell of pine was like Christmas. "Here we go," Caitlin said, and she turned onto a road called Ermine and began to run in earnest, and the boy followed. Not bad, he thought at first. Wide, smooth blacktop with plenty of sky overhead. But then the road grew steep, the trees loomed denser and nearer, and the bike began to jerk in mechanical palsy as he cursed through the gears. He stood on the pedals and rode open-mouthed, sucking at the air. Where his stomach overspilled his shorts, the sweat ran hot and slick. Ahead on the black road, the pale shape of her grew small and dim like some leggy and teasing sprite. "Slow down," he called, at great cost of breath, and then fell to watching his own quivering thighs. It was snowshoes all over again, Caitlin stomping out ahead of him on the lake and he slogging behind, the old wooden snowshoes colliding, tripping him, the lifeless heap of himself in the snow, the whole dark lake underneath, the thin floor of ice. Red-cheeked Caitlin, appearing suddenly and reaching down. "Come on, Dudley, stop screwing around." When he looked ahead again, she'd stopped, and he rode up to her and planted his feet. "Jesus Christ, Caitlin," trying not to sound like a desperate, gasping fatty, his heart whopping. "Shh," she said. Her chest was heaving too, but she was smiling. Her burning lungs, her banging heart, were ecstasies to her. Back home, across a wall of her room, track ribbons lay feathered like the wing of a brilliant bird. "Do you see it?" she said. "What?" "Up there." "What?" "Just off the road, he's right there." Then he saw it. A small red dog with a thick tail. But not a dog, something wild with black little eyes and huge listening ears. "What is it?" he said. "I think it's a fox." "What's in its mouth?" "I don't know." "It's a pup," he said. "It must be her pup." "No, there's blood." "So she killed it. They do that sometimes." They watched, the fox watching them, until at last it about-faced, the small body yet in its jaws, and went trotting up the road, and was gone. The boy swung the backpack around and rooted inside for the spouted bottles. Caitlin had stopped not because of the fox, but because she'd come to an intersection and was unsure of the way. She remembered the young man at the bike shop with the oil-stained fingers, with the tattoo spider climbing his throat, with the very green eyes, saying there'd be signs, but there weren't any. Not here. They squeezed cold water into their mouths, and Sean removed his helmet, and they unfolded the map between them. "That way," she said, and he looked up the narrow gravel road she indicated and shook his head. "That's not right." "They promised to keep to the paved roads, the county roads," he said, and she looked at him. His red, serious face and the high, greasy bird crest of hair his helmet had styled. Hard to remember sometimes he was 15 and not 12, not 10, not 7. She checked her heart, and it was fast just standing still. Their altitude was 9,456 feet. "Dudley," she said, jamming her bottle back into the pack, "did you rent a mountain bike so you could go tooling around on county roads?"
The sun had spilled into the valley, and a yellow blade of it opened a seam in the drapes and fell across the bed and across the eyes of the man who lay there sleeping. After a moment, the man turned away from the light and blinked the alarm clock into focus. 7:15. A motel room, Colorado. To his right sat the other bed, empty and unmade. In the bathroom on the counter, the boy's toothbrush lay in its puddle. The man